You want to know where this stock market crash stops, whether it's the S&P, NVIDIA, crypto, whatever it is that's affecting you right now? Do you want to know where it stops? Because I can tell you, and I'll be happy to tell you inside of the analysis of this video. Now, the one thing I will say is we called this out weeks in advance, and we set these trades up days in advance. Okay, we made ridiculous money off of shorting Bitcoin. We made like a 25 to 30x risk to reward shorting just the S&P today. If you don't believe me, I will show it to you where we posted it all live. I'll show you the options position that I even opened and closed today for like an 80% profit in like 3 hours. This is where patience pays off while everybody else is out here running around looking like you know who. Ricky Bobby, baby.
Mr. Bobby, come on down here.
Help me, Jesus! Help me, Jewish God! Help me, Allah! Ah! Help me, Tom Cruise!
Everybody's running around yelling out, help me, Tom Cruise. We're setting up our charts. We're setting up our trades. We're doing our thing. And I'm going to show you exactly how you could have predicted this because we predicted it. And it's not that hard. It's honestly not that hard. And secondarily, you don't even have to predict these things. You can literally just come into Nordic Alpha and I'll predict them for you, right? I have an 82% win rate for a reason. So let's go ahead and just get into the charts, man. I don't want to talk too terribly much about it because at the end of the day, the proof is in the pudding, my friends. The proof is in the pudding, right? And the proof and that pudding is right here. Drew Wolfer, 89% win rate. 89% win rate. Everything live, tracked, links to it on all the videos that I called him out on. Everything perfectly live tracked. Even just in 2025 alone, we have a 92.5% win rate. And this is just on gold and silver. Okay. Let alone, God help us if we include the ridiculous trades I give people on Bitcoin and the S&P and stuff like that. So we have been in this short for, I don't even know how long. Since Tuesday, we gave this level out a long time ago, right? And I'm going to show you how you could have predicted this so that way, I mean, even if you don't want to come into Nordic Alpha and pay $29 a month for this information, at least you'll know now by just watching this simple video, right, on how to predict these things. Now, you're not going to know all the secret sauce behind it. I totally understand that, but you're going to know a lot, okay? So let's get into it. So crypto. Let's start there, and then we'll get to the S&P, and then we'll get to NVIDIA, because I think we got to start here with crypto, man. Like, seriously, this thing got absolutely murdered. It's been getting murdered, right? It's been getting murdered. I think we all can agree upon that, right? We were in this super duper upward sloping parallel that dated back to the bottoms of like 2023, September 2023. Okay. We kept bouncing from it. We kept bouncing from it. We kept bouncing from it. We hit the top. We hit the top. We hit the top. We reject. We hit the top. We hit the top. We reject. Right. And I was just like, look, here's what happens, man. If you come down here and you lose this parallel, it is super bad news. And the likely scenario is you're probably going to be coming down here to about $85,000. Worst case scenario, $81,000, like relatively soon, potentially. There's no guarantees on this. I totally get that, right? So give me 1 second and I'll show you why I think that. So this is a parallel that I have drawn, and I have what's called a deviation zone where price can deviate outside of this parallel and this parallel can still hold up. Now, once it starts getting outside of these lines, that's where it's not going to be holding up as well. And that's where you get to the $85,000 range, which you're dangerously close to. And I've been calling out 84K for God knows how long. If anybody knows how long, yeah, we do, man. Just go into the Nordic Alpha private VIP trading room. I literally do videos. I literally gave a signal today, like, and I'll show you. This is literally me setting up the trades, telling you, hey, watch out. Watch out for these highs right here. Watch out for this order block. Watch out for this right here. You tag this, you can start shorting, right? And that's exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened. And guess what you did? You got a full take profit on that position. So yes, I mean, do we give signals? I don't tell you what to do. I don't tell you what to do. I tell you what I'm going to do because I'm not a financial advisor. So do I give you a signal and I'm like, hey, CN 4317, go short S&P right now? No, I do not do that. But what I do say is like, hey, here's the level, right? If you want to do it, do whatever you want to do, right? But we are not financial advisors. Here's the gains that I made, right? So we opened up our position at 9:40 in the morning. And mind you, this was all actionable, okay? As you can see, I posted this at 9:17. This was pre-market open, okay? And NVIDIA had beat on earnings yesterday. I said they can, so be ready for a little pump, but they can only hold this up for so long. Here are the trades and levels. That was this morning at 9 a.m. Drew puts his money where his mouth is, goes in on a short position for, I don't know, like $1,100 or something like that. It's a put position on the S&P puts at 9:40, like 20 minutes after I gave out that trade. And bang, within 3 hours, less than 3 hours, I took 80% profits on this. Bought them for $10.90, which is about $1,090. Sold them for $1,900 perfectly. Timed the bottom exactly perfectly, and then came and posted it in here and said, hey guys, good job, full take profit. If you followed that, you made a ridiculous amount of money. And that's just assuming that you followed that one, right? If you followed the crypto ones, you're making ridiculous money too. So I don't know what to tell you other than, you know, we give these out days and days and days in advance. As you can see, this Bitcoin short that I'm talking about, dude, I gave this out back on the 18th. And I said, hey, we're getting under this parallel. If we back test this parallel and reject, you got to start shorting. You have to start shorting, and you have to be targeting somewhere around $84,000 or so, right? And that's exactly what everybody did. And my guess is they made a lot more than the $29 it cost them to be in there for the month. So again, do with that information whatever you want to do. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'm telling you that we've never had a down week in the history of the existence of Nordic Alpha. And you can go and fact check that. And you can go and check my win rate. Unlike all these other people, I will come with receipts. I always have. I always will. And that is what you can expect from me. So let's talk about crypto. We rejected off of the top end of the parallel. We then lost the bottom end of said parallel. Now, how many times, you're probably wondering, Drew, how many times did you short it on the way down here? I'm glad that you asked. A lot, right? We shorted right here. Right here, you can't even see the short because we literally closed it out in the same day. We shorted right there. We shorted right here. Boom. We shorted right here. Boom, right? We shorted everywhere. We shorted this thing all the way down. Those are just the ones that I have saved still, right? Obviously, we shorted here, and then obviously we came down here and we're shorting here, right? So you're probably wondering, like, where can this thing, where can it stop, right? Where does the bleeding stop, Drew? Well, here's your first level of support, $84,300. Call it $84,500, and I swear, I cannot make this stuff up, dude. I cannot. Dudes and dudettes, homies and homettes, non-binary people alike. I cannot make this stuff up, and I'm going to show it to you. Give me 1 second, and I'm not going to waste too terribly much time on it, but let me show you what I'm talking about. Just go to my lives section on whatever it's called, YouTube, right? And scroll down just a few days. Where's it at? Where's my 84K in play? So first off, we called out the 95K. We called out the 94K right here on this thumbnail, you can see, and that's exactly where we went. We went and smacked into 94K, right? Right here, bang, just boom, and then we stopped for a second, and then our next move down was, 84K. So I've been screaming this from the hills for a very long time. Been telling people, dude, Bitcoin's about to drop. right? 97K is in play. You know, if we come up to 112, if we come up to 114, this is where we're going to be going, blah, 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 right? All these, you know, I've called these all out. I can't do much more than that, than just try to get the information out to you in a timely manner, right? The easiest and the most timely manner I can get the information out to you is obviously inside of Nordic Alpha, which is where I talk to everyone and show them like, hey, here's my Bitcoin levels today. Here's my metals levels today. Here's my equities levels today, and all of that good stuff. So let's talk about it. $84,000 is the deviation zone, the first deviation outside of this zone, $84,500. So that you could see a little bit of support there, right? And if you want to know the reasoning and basis behind it, I'm not going to tell you on stream for free. You can get inside of the community if you want that, right? Secondarily, your secondary support is going to be around $80,500 to about $81,000. Now, this will depend on when you get down here, okay? When do we hit this? If we ever even do hit this, right? Well, it's right here. Okay, it's right here, it's right here. But as you can see, this parallel is moving up. So, you know, if you hit it on, you know, December 2nd, it's going to be $84,800. If you were to hit it today, you know, it would be $83,800. So it's inherently different. You got to draw this parallel, man. Call it what it is. So in any case, you come down here, this is your first level of support. Then this is going to be your second level of support. You lose this, my friends, I promise you, you are coming down here to about 74K, okay? You are coming down here to about 74K. I've been calling out 74K for a very long time. I called out 94K before that. I called out 84K after that. And I'm telling you, I promise you, if you lose this level right here, if you lose this line right here, you are coming to 74K. Okay, I'm wrong 8% of the time in 2025. I get that. Could this be the 8%? Yeah, it could be, but I highly doubt that if we lose this line. Now, here's what I'll tell you. I'm not wrong about this, okay, and hitting 74K if you lose this. I might be wrong about even being able to lose it, right? We might not ever lose this line. We might just bounce straight off it, start trending back up, right? I don't see it because the S&P is going to keep going down, okay? The S&P is going to keep going down. Why? Because NVIDIA is not going to be able to hold it up forever. So you've got 74K. That's your first range that you're kind of aiming for, that you're targeting for, right? Now, you're also going to have liquidity down to about right here, okay? And that is about 52,000 bucks, okay? It's where your previous nice little, you know, consolidation range was before you made your big move up, and it was your support level, bang, bang, bang. So this is going to be your range, $52,500 to $74,000. And I know a lot of people don't like to hear this, but I don't care whether you like to hear it or not. I am just going to tell you the truth. That is what I am here for. I'm not here to give you hopium. I'm not here to smoke hopium. I like cigars too much. I don't like hopium. What I like to do is make frigging money, right? I like to make money like this, $800 in a day, right? I like to make money like shorting, all of that, all the way down, right? I like to short this all the friggin' way down, from here all the way down, okay? So my point and my promise to you is that if we lose this level, you are coming here. You are going to come back here and backtest this. And you're probably like, Drew, we already backtested it. Totally get it. I totally get it. We did backtest it 100%. But this is your line in the sand. This is your line in the sand. And if you get accepted back into this range again, you may as well expect a decently long range and bear market. Okay? If you get accepted back into this range. Now, what does that mean? That means that you have to come down here and do this. Right? You have to do something like that. That doesn't mean that you come down here and then you just hit the support, which is right here, and then boom. That is not being accepted back into the range. What I mean is being accepted back into the range, closing candles in it, and potentially even backtesting that as resistance. And you could just be ranging in here all over again like we did for a very long time over here. Let's see how long that was. Almost a year. So like two-thirds of a year. So call it, I don't know, 8 months, something like that. That's what you can expect if you get accepted back into that range. Probably a 6 to 12 month consolidation period of a friggin' bear market, right? So the easy answer is, where does this stop? Well, it's going to be one of three places. It's either going to be 84K, it's going to be 81,000, or it's going to be 74K. Okay, it's going to be one of those three places. Hopium, stage left, making money, go right. You got it, right? You got it. Tim Schwally, he already knows what time it is, right? Everybody comes for the braids, but they stay for the trades, and they stay for that 89% win rate, 92% win rate, whatever it is today, right? Now, this is just overarching technical analysis on Bitcoin, okay? Now, can you retrace this? Yeah, absolutely. You definitely could retrace this, okay? You definitely could retrace this and get, way back up there. But let's get down to the hourly chart, and I can show you kind of, what that looks like, right? So first and foremost, let's zoom out. You've got a massive fair value gap here that brings you back up to VWAP, okay? And VWAP is right here at about 89,733 bucks. That's about as high as I see you getting right now, unless you start to break market structure to the upside, which this is where you would have to do that at. Right here, you got to get above $93,000, man, to get back bullish market structure to the upside. And then you're just running right back into the bottom end of the parallel as resistance. So it could just reject you again. And then you take this exact short. Bang, all over again, man. You trade the levels until they invalidate them. I cannot state this enough, okay? Now, secondarily, let's talk about what is above us, okay? Okay, so we've got our naked VWAP up here, right? Let's see about our naked points of control, okay? We've got a bunch of liquidity above us. I totally get that, right? So we've got our naked VWAPs. We've got our order block up here, right? So 105. You've got a naked point of control right here at 102. You've got a naked VWAP right here at 101. You've got a naked point of control here at 96. And you have a naked POC here at 95, okay? So these are levels that you're going to have to get through, okay? And, price likes to take out these levels and then continue down. What do you mean by that? Well, look at this. This level right here, that's a naked VWAP. What did price do? Well, it just came right back out, took it out, and then boom, boom, bam, right? That's what happens, man. Price likes to come up and take out those points of control. It loves to come up and take out those naked VWAPs and just keep continuing downwards, okay? Now, what is also potentially happening is a much larger term downtrend, okay? Because there's not a lot over here, okay? Well, let's zoom out just a little bit. I'll show you what we got over here, okay? 4-hour chart, maybe that'll do better for us. Yeah. Okay, so right here we have a naked point of control that we just blasted through. This is dead, right? And as you can see, we bounced from it at first. This stuff does not lie, man. This stuff does not lie. Bounced right off of it. Boom, perfect, right? Secondarily, we have these naked points of control right here, and then we have a naked weekly, I believe that's a weekly VWAP. I can't read it. No, it's a naked point of control. So this is a naked point of control right here. And then you've got a naked point of control down here at $76,000, okay? So this is where it starts to get really nasty, but you can see levels of confluence here. You come down here and you take out these points of control. You could take them out and then just immediately bounce back upwards and the day is saved. So you have to watch right here at 84.5, 83.5, and $82,000 almost exactly. Those are the three levels that could absolutely save the day for you. Other than that, there is nothing that can save you until you get down to $76,500 and then ultimately the previous all-time high of $74,000. That is what is going on inside of the markets right now. If you don't like it, that is perfectly fine. Don't trade it then. Right? You don't have to like what's going on in the market in order to make money from it. Do you think I like the fact that crypto went down, that the S&P went down? No, I do not. But I still shorted it and I still set up this trade, right? Because I don't care what way the market goes, because I am going to make money on it either frigging way. And I gave this trade out days in advance for all the people inside of Nordic Alpha, and it's already pretty friggin' close to our take profit. We've already, I mean, look at the risk to reward on this, 36x risk to reward. I don't think anybody's going to scoff at that. I don't think anybody's going to be like, oh, that's a shitty trade, man. You know, no one's going to say that. Considering this isn't a pre-send stream, bro, I would say go to the Discord. All right, secondarily, let's come right up here and short that S&P, baby. Why did this whole big old pumpage happen, right? That's what we got to understand. Well, it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. Let's get all this stuff off of here. We're going to get all this stuff off of the charts. If you just go to SPY, which is the S&P, ETF, okay, you'll see why all of this happened. It was just a big gap up, right? From about right here, 663 up to, where was it at? 662. So call it 663 to 672. Okay. So this was NVIDIA beating on earnings yesterday. NVIDIA beat on its earnings yesterday and bang, went up, right? So we saw a massive gap up because this market is not 24/7. So what does that mean? That means we can mark out this CME gap. And like I said earlier, that's where you start to go and find your order blocks. And as you can see, we've got some order blocks right here. I'll show it to you. 15-minute order block right here. Bang. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And if you bring it down, right, got tagged literally and perfectly to the T, to the dime. I think that was a 15-minute order block. This is an hour order block, okay? Now, secondarily, what else was here? Well, let's see. Give me 1 second. Let's go to the 30-minute chart. I just want to see something real quick. Where's my SVP? As you can see right up here, we took out the previous day, or it wasn't the previous days. It was Monday's point of control that we needed to come back up to. We blasted through it. Great, cool, right? And hit the value area high of that day. Boom, blasted down. What were the other levels of confluence that I used to get into that trade to call that out? Well, I'll show you. And I don't mind showing you this after the fact because this is not actionable for you now. So, it is what it is. It's whatever, right? Then we were saying, okay, we've got a naked point of control way up here. Are we really going to pump up there? No, probably not, because these were our previous highs right here and our previous highs right here. This was acting as major support and resistance. As you can see, major resistance here, double top, triple top, and then flip to support, right? Then became a pivot point, resistance, and ultimate resistance after NVIDIA beat on earnings, gapped up. And we were saying, hey, look, this would be your first target, is the gap fill, right? The CME gap fill. And that's exactly what happened. As you can see, you come right down here, bang, bang, you got your gap fill in literally 2 hours. It was absolute insanity, right? And then you just blasted straight through it, right? Now, what else happened? Well, you had your naked VWAP right here, your naked daily VWAP, and I'll show you what that looks like. This is your VWAP, right? You can't see it because there's like an hourly candle in between it, right? But this was a naked VWAP right down here. And then you had your naked point of control, daily point of control here that got absolutely ran through that we can delete 100%. Now, the other thing, we had poor highs right here. Okay, we had poor highs right here. If you don't know what poor highs are, you got to go to TPO and you'll see this pink line right here. That's poor highs. Okay, told me that we had poor highs there. Told me we had poor highs right up here, and here. So I was like, okay, we've got about 4 levels of confluence right here, and we could front run these poor highs and just absolutely reject. Plus, NVIDIA can't hold the market up forever, right? So I said, all right, that's where we enter on that order block, right? on that order block that I showed you. We get all the rest of this stuff off of here. And boom, we're targeting those previous lows and the upper end of this trend channel, okay? You're probably wondering, what is that trend channel, Drew? Well, I'm about to show you. So this is an upward sloping parallel. And actually, we might need to go to the weekly chart to be able to see this whole friggin' thing. But if you zoom out, you can see this is a parallel that's been respected since February of 2016, man. February of 2016. Let that sink in, all right? Secondarily, we have now gotten outside of that parallel. Boom, rejected. Now we're coming back to test that parallel. And if we get back accepted into this, dudes and dudettes, you are probably coming down here to about $6,160, almost guaranteed, right? This would be your ultimate target for a nice short right here if you got back inside of this trend channel, okay? So we can kind of get this, where's my previous all-time high? Get this off of here, boom, and then we can get this all-time high trend base fib off of here. Now, what I want to do is I want to make my deviation parallel here. Look at that perfect hit to the deviation zone, the very first deviation zone on that parallel. Anybody wondering why I was telling people to short up here? Oh yeah, you guessed it. We told people to short up there too. You want to see the trade? I don't have that trade actually. That sucks. We have these trades though, where we told people to long here and then short that ultimate top, right? Let's get back down to the hourly chart because that's where you'll actually be able to see this stuff. Because right here is not helpful. Not helpful. All right, cool. Here we go. So here is the long that we told everybody, hey, pull back here, long it up to the ultimate high right there, and then bang, you're entering shorts there, and bang, you're entering shorts there, right? So that's exactly what we did. Now, secondarily, we did short this all-time high as well. We shorted this. It was a nice bearish divergence. We got some confluence outside of it. I told everybody, hey, look, you got to short this thing, and we did. We absolutely did. And I shorted. If you guys don't think that I shorted here, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to believe me. Where is that? I don't expect you to believe everything I say. You need to verify these things. Absolutely 100% verify things, right? So as you can see back on, let's see, when was that filled? 1028, we took a nice little short position, obviously puts on SPY. We bought them at 330 and then we took profits, a few days later. Almost 50% profits, right? We bought them at 330. We sold them at, call it 40% profits, $4.55. Then just a little bit after that, right? About 7 days after that, almost to the T, we bought some puts at $11 and then we sold them at $21. So that means we bought them for $1,100, sold them for $2,100, made a nice, cool $1,000 in literally 6 days. No problem. That was easy. And then today we made $800 in literally, 3 hours, something like that. So anyways, line that up. Line that up, right? Let's see. 1111. 1117, right? Line that up on the charts. That's not the charts. Where's the charts? 1111, right here. 1117, baby. Rode it all the way from here down to here. Absolutely killed it. Absolutely killed it. Could not be happier, right? And then obviously line up the 1028. 1028. 11.4. Boom. We shorted all of these tops, man. We call all the tops. I'm not saying we call every single one of them. I'm saying we do call the tops a lot inside of Nordic Alpha. All these trades given out in advance. I promise you, they are given out in advance every single time. And we can go back. Where's 1111? Boom. Here's your short. I'm giving it out days in advance. Boom, boom. I give out a lot of trades in there in case you didn't notice. Here's the trade. Said, look, this is where you start shorting. You write it down, right? Gave that out in advance. Let's go to the 28th. Let's see. Potential SFP and shorting opportunity for a gap fill on the S&P. All of the trades are in the video. Great. Good to know, man. Here's your short. Setting it up days in advance. Let's go. If you don't believe me, I don't know what to tell you, man. I show you all the proof live. So as it sits right now, we are bouncing from the top end of that parallel, right? And we know what that parallel is. It's from the daily chart. It's very simple to see, right? But if we lose this, my God, do we have a long ways to fall? You could fall all the way down here to about $6,150, right? If we lose this parallel, dudes and dudettes, homies and homettes, I am picking this position back up. The January 2026 650 puts, if not worse, I might pick up the 625 puts or something like that. And I am going to just absolutely get like a $3,000 position on this, see if I can 5X it, right? That's what I'm looking for. If we close a daily candle below this, man, this is extremely bad news. And you don't immediately get accepted back into it, dude, it is absolutely horrendous looking for the markets. Okay, is there anything anybody wants me to look at, or do you want me to just keep cooking? I'm going to go to NVIDIA, and then we're going to go back to crypto. Then we're going to talk about the metals markets, because I absolutely crush it in the metals markets. That's my main thing. That's my main thing. We're over here killing it in crypto and equities, but dude, like, I'll give people a second to do it. Do you have anything that you want me to look at? Speak now or forever hold your peace. There's 86 people on here, almost 100 people on here. I can't imagine somebody doesn't want to see something. Make it good. Don't make it dumb. Not some stupid ass meme coin. Because I promise you, you do not have to trade meme coins to make good money. I just showed you a 30 risk to reward, 36 risk to reward trade on Bitcoin, man. Bitcoin. I showed you a 15 to 30x risk to reward on the S&P, man. You don't have to trade meme coins to make a bunch of money. I promise you. So in any case, this is where you would probably start thinking about, okay, this is my target, right? If I'm coming down here, this is my ultimate target, right? And then further than that, dude, if you lose that, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Like, let me see where my trend fib is. Where's my run up fib? Right here. You lose this level right here, the 0.382. You're looking at $5,800. And then you're looking at the 0.618, which is at $5,642. And then you're looking at the bottom end of the trend channel, right? I don't think you're going to get outside of this trend channel. I don't even necessarily think that you probably are going to get down to $5,600. Not anytime soon. But yeah, man, I mean, dude, I think $5,900 is in play. Anything from about right here to right here is in play 100%. $5,650 to about $6,150. And I'd say bare minimum, you lose this parallel, this is where you're coming, $6,150. Okay. And that's, I mean, I've been saying that stuff for, I've been saying that stuff for a very long time. Drew puts his money where his mouth is. You guys saw me short there. You saw me short there. You saw me short here. And actually, if you've been on my channel for long enough, you know that I told my mom and my wife, and I basically forced them to liquidate their 401ks at that level. Not like take the money out of their 401ks, but put it into a cash equivalent account. And thank God that they did, because look at what is friggin' happening right now. Their 401ks would already be worth 5.5% less in like a month. That is dumb. That is dumb. Why would you let that happen? I wouldn't, and that's why I didn't. So anyways, $6,150 down to about, I'd say $5,600 is kind of your worst case scenario on the S&P right now. Now you get into a recession and a bear market, that's where you got to start thinking about, you know, down here at about the 5,100 to 5K range, coming back down, revisiting these lows and hitting these deviation zones outside of the parallel, right? And again, if you want to know about the deviation zones and the parallels and all that good stuff, get inside of Nordic Alpha. You will never get a better education. All these people are out here, they're teaching you dog turds. None of them know what they're talking about. Well, some do. I will say that. There's a few people that do know what they're talking about, and they're very good. But 99% of these influencers, they don't know anything and they can't tell you any of this stuff. Damn. I mean, look at that thing, dude. That thing is murdered. I don't think this is the chart that we have it on, though, so I'm going to go here. I don't think that's the layout that we have it on. I'm pretty sure our NVIDIA, yeah, right here. Here's our NVIDIA chart, already tagging the 0.236 Fibonacci. As you can see, big, massive gap up. And look at that, just absolutely just tremendous red candle, man. Tremendous. Look at that. Look at how much this candle moved. That candle moved 6% in 4 hours, okay? You want to know why the S&P went down? This is why. And dude, I promise you, I literally talked about this in my video this morning. I said, look, guys, NVIDIA beat on earnings. You're going to have a massive gap up in the S&P. You're going to see a run up for maybe the first 30 to 45 minutes in the markets. And all that's going to do is give you your opportunity to then enter your shorts again within 8 minutes of the market opening and just getting and riding that bad boy down. That's all it's going to do, because you're going to fill that CME gap. Now, did I expect it to fill the CME gap today? I will be honest with you. No, I did not. I did not expect it to fill this entire gap today in a frigging 4-hour candle, right? I bet you it almost filled it in a 2-hour candle. Yeah, look at that. It almost filled the entire gap in a 2-hour candle. The 3-hour candle, it filled the whole thing. Absolutely insane, man. Insane moves. And I literally told everybody to short up here. I literally told everybody to short up here on the 3rd. On the 3rd, man. Literally. We put that up there. Hey, you need to be shorting NVIDIA right now, dude. You need to be shorting NVIDIA right now, right? Especially if you get an SFP up here at that all-time high with a bearish divergence. Dude, this thing is going down. And the earnings, they beat on earnings and it still can't even hold it up. That's not great, right? And so you can see why I'm saying if the S&P goes back under that bottom end of that parallel, or the top end of that parallel, and it gets accepted back into that parallel, dude, I am shorting. I'm putting the farm on that. I'm putting the farm on it. And my mom and my wife are going to be extremely happy because their portfolios are intact. And they're going to be able to buy all of their stocks back at a 30, 40, 50% premium, right? Think about how much of a premium. They literally sold right here, by the way. They sold right here at the end of October. Timed it perfectly, right? They could buy it back at 11% discount just here, right? Now, you come down to the $5,600 range, you're buying it back at a 20% discount, right? You come all the way down here, you're buying it back at a 25% discount. Come all the way back down here, you increase your portfolio by 30% by just getting out. Right? And look at this. You're breaking it right now. Obviously, we need a confirmation candle first. Now, where could NVIDIA go? Well, in my opinion, right here. 150, that's your first stop. Now, you could have your first stop. Well, your first stop is right here, right? But you're already losing this level, right? The 0.236 and your top, right? This was a 1, 2, 3, 4. This was a quad top, man. This was the resistance of resistances that it blasted through. And this should be a huge level of support now. And they're already broken it down. They've already broken it down in 1 4-hour candle. Well, 2 4-hour candles, right? They broke the whole thing down. Absolute insanity. You break down from here, you're coming to this pivot support that used to be resistance, then in which support, bang, bang. And as you can see, 164 is your first stop from here. Your second stop is going to be right here at 150. That's where you had your previous all-time highs and you got caught up 1, 2, 3, 4 times, quad top. You faded super duper hard and then you finally blasted through it. So 150, in my opinion, is almost like written in the stars, right? If the market continues to go down. Secondarily from that, 135 to about 120 is probably like your worst case scenario on NVIDIA. Here's the thing, and I've been talking about this for months, and I'm going to give people a public service announcement, and for that, I'm going to come on screen. I've been talking about this for a very long time, months and months and months in advance. Here's the thing. NVIDIA has been built on a house of cards for the past few years. What do I mean by that? When they were manufacturing their chips, there's this big AI craze, this big AI data center bubble that's happening right now. You're seeing it. Its bubble is bursting. It's doing it right in front of your eyes. And you heard it here first. Like, I've been saying this a bubble for months. So in any case, NVIDIA has been loaning their chips out to businesses that are AI startups, data center startups. And guess what they've been using as the collateral? Anybody got a guess? Their own chips. That's like me saying, hey man, I'm gonna let you borrow this cigar, and then I'm loaning it to you, and the cigar is the collateral. Come again? Well, I'm gonna smoke this, so it doesn't matter. They're gonna use the chips, and they're going to depreciate within 12 to 24 months. To 80% of the value is gone. They're worth 20% of what they were when you loaned it out to these guys. They're not paying you back. They're not going to pay you back. It's not in their best interest. They might as well let those notes default, right? The second thing that's been happening inside of the AI bubble is that these semiconductor companies have been amortizing and depreciating their chips in a way that is not real. Okay, they're amortizing them over like 6-7 years on their balance sheets, so it makes their profits look bigger, when in all actuality, within 24 months, they've lost probably essentially 75 to 90% of the value on those chips. And so you should have amortized those over 2 years and not 6. Well, the chickens, the proverbial chickens, are coming home to roost, and you're literally seeing it in real time. And this is where it starts, right? This is where it starts on the Drew Wolfer YouTube channel. The guy that told you to short at the top. The guy that told you that this was going to happen, right? And the guy that's calling out 134 to about $1.50 on NVIDIA. I'm just saying, it's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee, but that's going to be your ultimate target. I mean, your ultimate target's probably more like 120, but I would take 134 to 150. That's a really good retrace of this big ass move up. That's a really good retrace. I like that, right? Now, what you could also do is you could say, okay, well, let's say that NVIDIA, continues to rip, right? Which it's not going to continue to rip right now, is my point. Here's what you can do. You can say, okay, I draw this trend fib from the low to the high to the other ultimate low, and I bet you we hit the 0 on this. Look, we even front ran the 1.0. That's not bad, man. So, I mean, we're already retracing back to the 0.618 of this big move up, right? So you take that and do with that information what you will, right? But we're already almost back to the 0.618. You lose that 0.618, dude, I promise you, you're coming down to about $1.50. You're coming down to about $1.50, okay? So do with that information whatever you want to do. But my point is that if I am in the markets right now, which I am, obviously, right? This is where I am looking to get in, okay? I want to see my candles confirm below this level, okay? Because you've broken market structure to the downside. You've got market structure shift to the downside. I think we can all see that, right? If you don't know the basics of market structure, again, get inside of Nordic Alpha. I'll teach it to you, but I'm not doing it on air for free whenever I can just tell you what's going to happen. You come down here, you get a bearish back test and a rejection. You got to think about shorts, man. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter how much you love NVIDIA or any of that stuff. There is no love lost and no love found inside of these markets. And this would be your ultimate target, 150. I mean, you can start here at 164, right? But this gives you a 12x risk to reward ratio, okay? Now, you confirm below this, and again, we're going to mark this. Boom. So this is what you're doing, right? This is what you're doing. Now, if somehow you can regain this, which I have absolutely no idea how you're going to, right? If somehow you can regain this, you can start thinking about longs, but I would not be longing here. Why? Well, first and foremost, you're in a descending triangle. That is very easy to see. And what do descending triangles do? They break down. Why? because it's showing you that you just keep banging on this floor, and every time you bang on that floor, so here's where you started the floor, right? You moved up big, right? Then you banged on the floor again, then you moved up about half of the way that you did the first time, right? And you're like, okay, it's losing steam. You banged on the floor again, you barely got up, and then boom, here you go. Do you get it one more time before you get a short down? That's my point. The bulls don't have as much juice anymore. And that's why you see these things tanking out and doing the things that they're doing, right? So again, like I said, do with that information what you want to do, but you have the analysis, especially on NVIDIA right now, and it's getting nasty, man. It's getting super nasty. Now, let's talk about gold and silver. Dude, we took some seriously bomb trades this week inside of gold and silver. This is where I kill it. And I don't even have to tell you the trades. I can just show them to you. Like, it's actually easier for me to do it this way. But okay, so we longed silver from $50 to $51.50. We longed gold from $4,035 to $41.25. Then we immediately flipped short on gold, right? And then we immediately flipped short on silver, shorted from $41.25 on gold to $4,059, shorted from $51.50 to $50.42 on silver. And then guess what? We immediately flipped right back long on both gold and silver. Okay, I can show you these trades if you'd like. This is the first trade, not that one. Where's it at? Nope, that ain't it either. Okay, so this is the trade that I'm talking about right now. We came up, we rejected from the parallel. We said, okay, no problem. We'll just short here, right? And so that's exactly what we did. We shorted it. We took our profits down here, and then we opened up this trade right now, right? And that's it. That's exactly what we're doing on gold and silver right now. Now, here's what it comes down to on gold and silver, okay? If you want to know. And if you don't know, you're about to know. From a market structure perspective, let's get to the futures chart, okay? Let's get to the futures chart, and we're going to go to the 4-hour, okay? You are in an accumulation, manipulation, and distribution model, okay? You're definitely in a RIM-C model. Range, initiation outside of the range, mitigation back of that initiation move outside of the range, and then continuation of that initiated outside of the range, right? So this is what's called a RIM-C model right here, and I'll show you. Give me 1 second. So take this away. This is RIM-C, okay? So this is your range. This is your initiation outside of that range. This is your mitigation of the entire range, right? As you can see, the entire move outside of that range started here, right? You mitigated the entire thing, okay? And then this is potentially going to be your continuation, okay? So what do we have to do? Well, two things. One, you got to get back above this parallel on gold, right? This parallel that's been very, very well established since like 2024, something like that, end of 2023. You got to get above that parallel, and you got to crack this high at $4,133. Now, you got to crack that with a candle close, preferably on the 4-hour chart, but definitely it has to be on the 1-hour chart. For a break of structure to the upside on the 4-hour chart, you got to get a close above this level, which is $4,250-ish almost exactly, right? So long as you don't fall below $3,900, you are bullish on gold right now. And so long as you do not fall below this right here, which I'll show you on the hourly chart, we can get to it. From a market structure perspective, so long as you stay above $4,044, which is right where our entry was, you are still bullish on gold from a short-term perspective. And then if you break that 4133 level, at least on the futures market, you are absolutely pumping to the upside. You are regaining the parallel, and bang, bang, that's where you can start targeting these highs. Once you get those highs, you come back down, and then you start targeting the ultimate highs, which are way friggin' up here, right? So we're already in this long, right? And actually, I gave this long out in several places. I gave that long out inside of Nordic Alpha. I gave it out inside of Smart Money Commodities at Verified Investing. And I also gave it out on the Golden Nugget that I do for free every single Wednesday. I don't know what much more that I can do, right? Now, let's talk about silver, right? We got to talk about silver. The silver, right? So silver, we took some absolutely astronomically just gangster trades, man. Like, look at this, dude. When I tell you, like, we call the tops, dude, we call the tops. And if you don't believe me, dude, I promise you. What's this, the 13th of November? Hold on. I can show you. We probably called it out before the 13th of November, but in any case, whatever. Market close. Market close. I just heard the ding dings. There we go. Here we go. So beforehand, we gave out this long. We said, look, you come back down, you back test the 2.0, you're longing it up to the all-time highs, and then you're going to short. That's it. That's it. That's all. And bang, that's exactly what happened, right? That is exactly what happened. And we said, look, we come down here, we get a bounce. That's where you got to start thinking about longs, okay? Now, that was obviously on the 13th, but I can probably show you where I called it out, you know, beforehand. Maybe I didn't cover it on this one. I don't know, somewhere. It's somewhere in here. Yeah. In any case, I know I also called it out inside of the golden nugget as well, right? And then if you want to know, actually, I need to get this off of here so that people can't see. Verified. I gotta go to my dashboard. Technical analysis. Futures trading. Right here. Now, actually, I can't show you that. I'm gonna just scroll down and I'll show you the actual where we shorted the top, right? $54.35. Gave the alert out on November 12th. November 13th, right here. $54. And what did I say it was? I don't know. I don't remember. 35 cents. There's 54.35 right there. Literally, dude. How do you do this? How in the heck do you do this? How do you call the top exactly and perfectly? The top was $54.38, $54.38.5. That is nuts. Okay. Even if you go to the futures chart, we still called the top, right? We still called the top. Where's silver? Give me my silver. And I'll show you the trade. This is literally the trade that we took. I literally can show it to you. This is it. We called the top at 54.35. We called the top within what? 6.5 cents? That's insanity, man. It's insanity. We took this trade. We took our profits down here. We made 6% in literally friggin' 48 hours, not even, right? So, I mean, again, you know, we'd be calling tops. We'll call the bottoms. I don't care. We're going to continue to rip it and grip it, right? That's what we're going to do. And that's why we have the 90% win rate. That's why we have the 90% win rate, 92.5% in just 2025. Okay. Why does this keep popping up? So in any case, silver, we shorted. Great. We also gave out a secondary position because I was like, you know, maybe these people didn't get into it. I'll give you a second chance to get in. Great. Cool. Then we took profits at the bottom. We longed it at the bottom. We took our profits right here, right? And then guess what we did? We shorted it all the way back down, and then we just longed it again. It's that simple, man. It's like 17 trades in like 8 seconds. Like, obviously, I'm being sarcastic. It's not 17 trades in 8 seconds, but in very quick succession, we took what, 8 trades? Something like that. That's just on gold and silver, let alone, you know, what did we do inside of crypto? What did we do inside of the S&P? And you know what? I appreciate everybody for being cool, man. I appreciate everybody for being cool and let me smoke my cigar, okay? Because if you're enjoying this, let me enjoy it, right? If this is valuable to you, just give me a like, dude. I don't ask too terribly much out of people. Give me a like, drop a comment. I don't know, follow me or something, right? I got like a bunch of people here on Twitter. What are we looking at? 100 people on Twitter, over 100 people on Twitter. Y'all better go up and hit that follow button, man. I've given out so much sauce. I've given out so many trades in this. Let's talk about silver just really quickly. Okay, so now for silver. Obviously, we longed silver here, okay? We longed silver right here at this, naked VWAP, right? We longed it a little bit before that, though, right? We longed it, I believe, like right here. We longed it right here because we front ran the previous naked VWAP. Okay, cool, right? And that's where we took our profits on this short. Actually, I can tell you exactly where. Yep, that's where we took our profits right here, and then we longed it, right? So that's exactly what we're doing inside of silver right now. But for silver, it's a little bit different, okay? Silver, we got to get pretty high to get a 4-hour break of structure to the upside. We have to get all the way up to the all-time highs, man, which means that we got to get above $54.41.5, 41.5 cents. So 54, call it 54.42. If we can close a candle above that, we're looking extremely good on silver. We only have to uphold $49.90, 93 cents in order to stay bullish on silver right now. And secondarily, that's just from the hours perspective. Like we're in an uptrend on the monthly, weekly, daily, 12-hour and 4-hour, all the way down to the 1 hour. That's where we have the only one that's actually in a bearish market structure right now. Then from the 4 hours perspective, as long as we stay above $47.38, we are bullish on silver from the long term and the 4 hours perspective. If you really want to get like super technical about it, I can show you where the 12-hour market structure shift would be, and it's at $45.50. Look at the daily, man. It's in the same place, $45.50. Look at the weekly. It's all the way down at 36 bucks. You think silver's getting down to 36 bucks? I don't. And this is like, I'm an expert in this market, right? I'm a verified pro trader, at Verified Investing, a commodities expert. I don't know, man. Like, if there's anybody that can kind of comment on that, I feel like it's me. And I don't see silver getting down to no 36 bucks, my friends. I just don't see it. So what does everybody else want to see? Drop it in the comment section. I don't care whether you're here on Twitter or not. There's 110 people on Twitter. There's 11 people, a dozen people on YouTube. If you want to see something, drop it in here, right? And let me exit this out of here before I get in trouble for giving out trade alerts. But that's a trade alert that we gave out. It's not actionable. So I just wanted to show you guys that we literally called out the top. I called the top on silver. Called the top on the S&P too. Just saying. That's what we do. That's what we want to do. Anybody that's here on Twitter, drop whatever you want to see technical analysis wise in the comments section. Let's go to x.com/Drew_Wolfhair. Wolfhair. I literally have 111 of you guys are here on Twitter. I checked my followers earlier. It was 1,000 people. Not one single one of you has followed me. Come on, show me some love. Show me some love. I try to show you guys as much love as I possibly can. We don't have any comments. We have 1 like. We have 0 friggin' retweets. There's been 174 people that have watched this, and there's only 1 person that has just been like, yeah, you know what? I'll hit the like button for you. I appreciate it, right? Or I'll share this. Dude, retweet this. Get this out to as many possible people as you can. I promise you, this is actionability at its best. This is probably one of the most actionable streams you are going to be on because I talk to you about every single market, man. And I show you my trades. I show you my results. I show you my win rates. I show you inside of my communities where we call this stuff out. And I give you trades, excuse me, I give you trades live every single day. If you're not making money, it's because you're not taking the trades. That's all I can say. I'm going to continue making money. You do whatever you want. Imagination of Innocence wants to see XRP. He wants to see one of the usual suspects. We can absolutely do that, my friend. And see what we can figure out. Dude, I've been, and you already know imagination of innocence. Sorry, I inhaled that cigar. You're not supposed to do that. I'm getting excited. So you know what I've been talking about for literally probably, I don't know, a month or two. I've been talking about this $2 level is your line in the sand. This is where basically XRP dies if you get under this level, okay? And then you bearishly backtest it. Now here, you got under the level, but you didn't bearishly backtest it. You immediately got back above it and then reclaimed it, okay? This is different. What I'm telling you is much different. If you go down here and you bearishly backtest it and you get a rejection, remember, we are in a downward sloping wedge, right? Not wedge, sorry, descending triangle, okay? This is your floor. $2 is your floor. If you break down from $2, dude, this is how far you can go down. $75% of the measured move on that takes you to $1.20, and that lines up perfectly with this pivot point. This pivot point, $1.28, okay? So your first likely place to go is 162. Then it's going to, and let's just put this on here. Where's my target? Really, dude? Okay, whatever. This is the measured move. / target. Okay, that's your first. That's your TP1. This is your TP2. Or this is your TP1. This is your TP2. And as you can see, right here, you have the value area low of this entire range moving up, right? Of this massively parabolic move, okay? This is not good news. You lost the point of control, finally, right? The point of control that you kept bouncing off of and couldn't lose. Now you've lost it. Dude, this does not look good. 162 and 128, man. That's where you're going. That's where you're going. And imagination of innocence, you already know I've been talking about this $2 level. It must hold. I've been talking about this for months, and it ain't, I mean, so far it's held. So far it's held, right? You are on it. You are literally on it. You are sitting atop it. But if you lose it, my friend, I'm going to take a big short position on XRP if we lose this $2 level. Most likely. Let's talk about some other usual suspects. Solana. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Drew literally called this level out a long time ago. Me love you long time, right? Bang. Perfect. Literally, you had your perfect entry. You got the perfect tag of the level. It was nuts. That's nuts, right? Absolutely crushed it, right? No candle closed below it. Perfect tag. You had 2 whole days to get in. 2 whole days to get in. Now, is Solana going to pump all the way back up here to $160? I don't know. But look at the risk to reward that you have on this bad boy. 14x, anybody? I think that's solid. Again, we call these out days and 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 days in advance. Okay. Now, is there a possibility that you're going to get stopped out on this? Dude, honestly, I would have already taken my profits at this 0.236 if I was people. Look at the risk to reward on that. You got a 6x risk to reward, right? I would have already taken this out because I was shorting Bitcoin at the time that this thing was longing. So I already know there's an imbalance in the market and I'm counter trend trading the entire market. So I'm taking my profits here. I already know that's exactly what I would have done. If you haven't taken your profits yet, you should take them now. You're still at a 2x risk to reward ratio. You should probably take some of them off of the table, move your stop to break even at the very least. Okay. Yeah. Because if crypto continues to tank, Solana is going to continue going down. Okay. It will continue going down. Okay. As you can see, you're in this really, really nasty downward sloping parallel. You got a nice bounce at this prior swing low, right? But if you break that swing low down, dude, you're coming down here. I promise you, you're coming down to $100. And that's where you can start thinking about buying Solana again, okay? You start thinking about buying Solana in the $78 to $100 range. Call it 78 to 95 bucks, okay? That's where I would be looking to get back into Solana, okay? 78 to 95 bucks. So do with that information whatever you want to do. It is what it is. Cardano probably got murdered. Yup. Gave this trade out a long time ago too. Hey, you lose this level. You're trying to short this bad boy down here to about 32 cents. It already hit your first take profit, 46. It's about to hit your second take profit at 41.50. Just saying, we gave this short position out a long time ago, man. Oh, you already canceled your order at $1.98 on XRP. That's probably good, at least for now, right? Or take a very, very small position. And what I mean by small position is like, do a starter position. If you're ready to put $10,000 into it, maybe leg it in with 500 bucks from an investor standpoint. Something like that. Like if you want exposure, just make sure your exposure is low. That's what I would do, right? But I don't care about exposure. I just want to trade, okay? For the most part. Like I own physical gold and silver for the long term, but I just want to trade my money, right? And make more money. Because why? Well, why? Of course, because I can make $800 in a day, right? I can make $800 in a day. I can make $1,000 in a few days, right? I can make 150 bucks, right? Really quickly. It's not that hard, right? Do whatever you want to do, man. I literally took like $300 and turned it into over $3,000 in like 2 weeks. Literally, you're watching it. You literally watch it. Look, this was a $300, $330, right? Then we turned that $330 into $450. Then we turned that into $2,100. Then we added another $800 to that. That's almost $3,000 in the span of 1028 to 1120. 60 days. 60 days, 10x your money. 60 days, 10x your money. That's insane. I don't care what anybody says. Okay? So Cardano, as it sits right now, I mean, you can look for a bounce point here at $41.36. That's your prior high that you absolutely blew through, right? This is where you lost. You blew through that. You also blew through this high. My guess is you're coming down here to 32 cents. If Bitcoin keeps tanking, I mean, you broke down from your descending triangle. This is where you're going, 32 cents. We've had this set up for a very long time, man. We've had this set up for a very long time. I cannot stress this enough. Get into the Nordic Alpha private VIP trading room, man. I don't know how I can be, yeah, you've been making $100 a day just buying and selling XLM this week. See what I'm saying, dude? Like, it's not like the opportunities are prime in this market, man. So what did we look at? We looked at Cardano, XRP, Solana. We need to look at ETH. All right, so here we go. This is where we were talking about. We were like, hey, man, if we can come down here and we can retest this and we can bounce from this $2,750 range, $2,850, something like that. Like, this is where we could come up here, tag the 1.0, retrace back to the 0.786, and start blasting off to new all-time highs all the way up here towards 8,700 bucks. But this is all going to be determined on Bitcoin, man. This is all going to be determined on Bitcoin. You can't really get much lower than this. Otherwise, you're probably coming right back down here to about 2K on ETH. And I know people aren't going to want to hear that, right? But that's just what it is, man. That's just what it is. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it, dude. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Your point of control is right below us, right? On this massive range from here to here. Your point of control is at 2,500 bucks. So my bias is from 2,750 to 2,500 bucks. That's your range, dude. That is your range. Does anybody else have anything else they want me to look at? I'm looking at, yeah, I mean, you really just got to come back up here and crack these highs, man. You just got to crack these highs, get candle closes above it, get a back test here, boom, blast off. Your first level of resistance is going to be 5,600, 5,700 bucks. Your second target is going to be 58, or no, sorry, 86.50, something like that. That's new all-time highs. Now that's assuming, again, that something like this doesn't happen. Where we come down here and start hitting these naked points of control, these naked VWAPs, these friggin', you know, the previous all-time high. I mean, you get outside of here, 81.5, 81.6, that's where it gets real nasty. This is your last line in the sand. Call it $82,000 almost exactly. That's where all the alts are going to get murdered. And then, let's be real, they're already all getting murdered as it sits right now, right? Like, let's go to the crypto bubbles. What are these coins? Why are we on the 3 to 400s? We don't care about those coins. What's Avalanche doing? Not that friggin' bad. Kind of good on Avalanche. Had a nice dump, right? But like, it's been trending up. Whereas everything else is like going down still. Avalanche held pretty strong. ETH held pretty strong, right? Got a nice dump. Now it's trending up a little bit. See what BNB. Because normally what you would see is these altcoins outperforming Bitcoin. Bitcoin's at 2.8% negative. AVAX is only 1.5% negative. Quant, 1.6. I don't know what that token is. Optimism, 1.6, right? What is this? This is that stupid Leo token. I mean, I don't know if it's stupid. I just, you know. Dude, look at FET is up. FET is actually up. That's wild, right? That's pretty crazy. ETH down 3.5%, right? When Bitcoin's down 3.3. It's mirroring it. And some of these aren't even mirroring Bitcoin. That's pretty, I mean, honestly, that shows, in my opinion, that is showing strength inside of the altcoin market. That's actually really good news for people when they're looking at these trades that I'm giving them, because maybe, just maybe, you do see a rotation. Because what happens during altcoin season, right? Like, let's talk about it really quickly. Does anybody know? Raise your hand or drop something in the comments section. You know, we've got 130 some odd people on this stream, okay? So let me switch over. What the heck just happened? I don't know. Let me light my cigar. What happens in altcoin season? Well, usually what happens in altcoin season is you see a rotation out of Bitcoin into altcoins. What does that mean? That doesn't mean that fresh money, like, oh, I just found some money. Here, hold on. Oh, I found some money under my friggin' couch cushion. No, that's not how it's going. And I just messed up all my chains. That's not how it's going. What's happening is usually money comes from one market and goes into another, right? So a lot of people are going to take profits on their Bitcoin and then roll it into those altcoins, and that's when you see altcoin seasons, okay? So the fact that Bitcoin is absolutely getting demolished right now because the S&P is getting demolished, dude, man, I wish I was still in my short on the S&P. But I always leave money on the table. That's how I stay profitable. But Bitcoin is getting demolished because the S&P is getting demolished. I mean, people are selling their Bitcoin. What are they doing with it? They're just tethering up. They're not dumping it into ETH. They're not dumping it into Avalanche. Looks a lot like they are to me, right? Because there's heavier selling on Bitcoin than there is on FET token, ETH, Avalanche, right? So what does that mean? That means either one, less people are trying to get out of their positions, or two, people are trying to get into more positions, right? Selling their Bitcoin and getting in, right? So, I mean, we'll see what happens, but yeah, dude, I mean, this thing, look at this. Woo! That's a nasty short that we had earlier today. Congrats to anybody inside of the Nordic Alpha VIP trading room that got this short. Like, give yourselves a round of applause. Pat yourself on the back. You got cigar money. You got pizza money for the Friday Pie Day tomorrow. And just go have fun with it, man. Like, we're not getting a bounce here. I'm waiting. I want to see if we close this candle under this level, and then I'm probably going to start thinking about entering a short here. Period. There's no short there. There's no short there yet. There's the other short. Look at that. Literally had this set up since September 30th. Just saying. It was a risky long, but SFP of the lows. You ride it back up to here. Boom, boom. Full take profit. Then bang. You enter short. It's very simple, man. I call these things out every single day. Every single day. As soon as you came down here, you SFP'd these prior lows. Right over here. Boom. You blasted up. You took that straight to the bank, baby. Straight to the bank. Hit that short. Hit that long. Just absolutely killed it on the S&P this week. Killed it on crypto this week. But anyways, in any case, what I was trying to see is if I have a short right there, right there. We've already got it set up. We've been talking about this since October 14th, dog. October 14th. This is what I'm talking about. You come down here, you get your confirmation candle, you get your bearish back test, you enter, you're shorting, and guess where you're targeting? About $6,200, something like that. These lows. Just saying, do whatever you want to do. You know what to do on Bitcoin. You know what to do on gold. You know what to do on silver. You know what to do on the S&P. You know what to do on the alts that you requested. What more can we do besides sign off of here and tell everybody, come back tomorrow for Friday Pie Day, baby, and let's keep getting money. I appreciate everybody that shows up. Seriously, it means a lot to me. I wouldn't have a platform without you. This is fun for me. I make no money off of these videos. I get like 200 views. You don't make money off of that. I maybe make 1 cent off of each video. I just like to show up and banter with you guys. And I know a lot of people appreciate this analysis and stuff. And if you do appreciate the analysis, man, or woman, or non-binary people, or whatever you are, just hit the like button, hit subscribe, and then boom, baby, bang on the notification bell. Follow me on Twitter, and I will see you in the next video. We will have a Friday Pie Day video tomorrow, and there's 130 people on here. I expect to see 130 people on that video tomorrow. It will be around 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you're following me so that you can get that notification, and that way you'll never be running around here looking like friggin' Ricky Bobby again when the market dumps out, because you'll be on the right side of it because I told you to be. See you all soon.